Welcome, this is Mercedes Warwick, and this is It's All Spiritual. I've been doing a series of, quite frankly, downloads that have been given to me. Um, it's kind of like Spirit hasn't been like this in a while. They're kind of on me, like I can feel it. The guidance is on me. And so we're doing this series of communication about healers and healing and what is happening right now in the environment that we're in. I want to say, I did something yesterday, and I want to say I'm not just talking about the United States. It is in the world in general. And hello there. It's in the world in general, and so that is something to keep in mind. My guidance doesn't know borders. Quite frankly, they don't know time or space either. So if we want to be real about it. But there seems to be this sort of, I haven't had it like this where it's not, it's like a sense of urgency. I've had occasions where it's been like now, but it is flowing out. There is a flow to what's happening here. But I'm going with the flow. I haven't been in this position in quite a while, so I'm just going with the flow and seeing what's coming. A lot of information this morning, so I'm going to take it one step at a time. And if you are in service, in care, giving care, in service, whether it's your job, whether it is a family member, you are a healer. That really is the message of this transmission. You are a healer. A lot of times we will be talking about healing and healers in terms of light workers or energy workers, and that is the case. This morning's transmission was specifically to say, as you were giving service to the world, as you are giving care to others, that you are a healer. It is just as though you are putting your hands, as you would say maybe in some settings, laying hands on people. It is not just for those who are laying crystals or laying hands. It is for those who are giving kind words. The other thing that was very important to understand, they were just on me this morning, about understanding the role of men as healers. And I thought that was very interesting. They talked to me about the role of men and then the role of now the female energy and the male energy, but we're not talking about that in sort of these intangible terms. What we are talking about is the real relationships, the people that you can actually look in the eye, administer touch to, give a kind word to. So the role of men as healers, and it was so interesting, and I am going to go quiet for a minute because truthfully, I don't want to muck it up. I want it to be as pure transmission as I can get it. But the role of men, I've been doing, I think my first sort of spiritual awakening or attentiveness was probably now almost 12 years ago. And as I've gone on this journey, there's been very few men in Reiki classes, in Theta classes, in seminars and channeling, those sort of things. There have been a few men, but there really hasn't been a lot of men. And I was reminded this morning that it looks differently. And when we can open our hearts compassionately, because the other thing is, we categorize, we judge, we have values, we place values and opinions. Oh, I'm a healer, been through that stage of growth, and the tangible embodiment of the heart of healing and service makes that person a compassionate caregiver. And just like we would be saying in the energy healing realm, do our spiritual hygiene, be in self-devotion, be dedicated to a practice, prayer, every breath is a prayer, all of these things. A person that is providing care and service, it may look differently, and I'm going to use this word in the secular sense, okay? It may look differently, but that person could be, I'm going to, Anoni Eshkina, spread this out. This person could be in their prayers, in their home life, in their personal life, and comes to work every day, and Anoni Eshkina, and administers care into the world. And when we look at the spectrum from that perspective, there may even be people that would not be in what we would consider to be a defined belief system, but they have the heart of God. They are demonstrating the heart of service, the heart of human compassion, the heart of human care, the heart of human humility, the heart of human patience, the divineness and the divinity of just how they come into the world and practice living every day. So my guidance, it was guidance for me, but I am sharing it with you tonight, is that let's open our eyes. Let's open our eyes to see, I'm going to use this term, interdimensionally, so that we don't just see what is in front of us. When we say namaste, the light of me, I connect with the light of you. Yes? Let's start seeing that. Let's see it in the person who's giving us service in the grocery store. Let's see it in the service of the person who is servicing our cars. Let's see it in the service of the person who's teaching our children. Let's see it in the service of the person that comes to get our garbage. Let's see it in the service of the person who sits beside us in the pew. And let's see it in the service of the person that sits beside us in the hospital. Let's see it in the service of the kind word that is issued at the exact right moment. So when we are talking about healing and healers, to broaden the expansiveness, the scope, the container, making the container infinite. When we close our eyes and we see the nothingness, the nothingness, the infinite space that allows us to wait in Anoni Eshkina, in our the word that is coming, in our expression of Source itself, to connect with that expression of Source itself. So everyone that we come into contact with is potentially, quote unquote, a healer, okay? When we, who has a consciousness of this, Anoni Eshkina understands this, then now going to the beginning, when we have the male in our lives, the man in our lives, the male energy in our lives, that is not necessarily saying just for today, I am grateful, just for today, I will do my best, just for today, I will see the light in you as I see the light in me, the Reiki promises. Just for today, in this moment, I will glorify love, care, compassion, just for today. Know that it does not necessarily mean that you have to see them in prayer. You don't have to see them, Anoni Eshkina, in the compassionate solitude of their personal dignity or their personal divinity. And that the expression may not even be of, maybe a little gruffed around the edges, it's kind of, but there's still service, divinity, care, and compassion there. And that is the Anoni Yeshkena, the energy of healing. Okay? If you are a woman who is in an environment with a compassionate male provider, that's the other thing. Providing is healing. Protecting is healing. Let's just take that in appreciation and gratitude for the work and the care and the love and the expressions of divinity that our men provide to us. When we, and I speak of myself, I'm not in a intimate relationship at this moment, but I have men around me, and I have had men on my journey of the last 2 years. They may not have been in the room all the time, but all I had to do, I have one healer that he would come when I asked, and we would pray together. And he came and fixed my gait, and he said, I don't always know what to do, but if you tell me and you need help, you call me. That is an expression of divinity. We must come to give extra appreciation and have a keener awareness, a keener look in our eye, for those expressions, because they don't always come wrapped in a bowl or presented as a bouquet. Our men are healers too. They may not be sitting in the pew beside you or at your prayer altar or administering the teachings to the children and the next generation, because they are providing, they are healing, they are Onona Ieshkena, they stand rooted. That is the other thing for another video, but they stand rooted. They give us the embodiment of spirit. They give us the embodiment of source. A topic that she has for another day, but one of the reasons why our healers are not in optimum health and condition right now is because we are not embodying the self-care that we are giving to ourselves. We administer the care in the divine frequencies, and we do this in the circles of consciousness. We are not pulling that care, that energy, that divinity, that source energy into our bodies and anchoring it in so we can get revitalized, renewed, and regenerated. Okay? Whole different thing. If you're in Las Vegas, come to the circles of consciousness, because that's what we do. We embody love and healing for 90 minutes in the circles of consciousness. Okay? So as the female of the world, I'm not even going to talk about it in terms of being in an intimate relationship. As the female energy in the world, we are the creators. We are the we are the incubators, 9 months, the baby. We are we are the darkness. We are the nurturing darkness. Okay? We are the rest. We are the rest. What does that look like? How do you provide to the male energy around you rest, nurturing, a safe place in the darkness to be, so that they can rejuvenate and renew? Okay? They won't, now this is broad, okay? But they won't always know how to nurture themselves. They won't know. I talked about yesterday the signals and the feelings of a spiritual tiredness versus a physical tiredness. And knowing when to take that rest. So, even when they're on vacation, it's like gather the family up. Let's go and do, right? And so how are they spiritually resting, spiritually nurturing themselves, spiritually taking care of themselves? And how are we in this world, as the female, allowing ourselves to nurture that and to be the eyes, to be the sensitivity to see when they need spiritual nurturing and spiritual nourishment? Now, if your male is not in, I'm going to call it the life of a light worker, it's going to look different. The last relationship I had, the guy was coming into his spiritual awareness, and we would breathe together and take bubble baths together and massage each other. We took the time. If you're in a family, how is that going to happen? And you're going to have to carve a way for yourself. You're going to have to figure out a way to define that for yourself, right? If you're not in an intimate relationship and you see the same gentleman I talked about, I call him up. I haven't laid eyes on you. I need to see you. I need to hear you. We text back and forth. You okay? I'm okay. Okay. And he's doing life. And there are times he knows. He knows it's a mandatory show up. It's kind of like, I haven't laid eyes on you. How are you doing? I need to see you. What's going on with you? I need you to come here. I don't care if it's just for an hour, and sit and be. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? How are you? We women, we female energy, because we're not always the woman, I'm talking about this. We female energy have the knowing when those around us require spiritual rest. Okay? And I am specifically calling to you, ladies, healers, light workers, divine ones, to look at the males in your life, the males who are looking after your children, okay? The teachers, the male teachers, the male role models, the male upstanding citizens, if we want to put it that way, because they're not going to call themselves healers. But it is up to us to show them the joy that they are bringing into our lives, to acknowledge the joy that they are bringing into our lives, to give them the sustenance, the morsel, to keep them moving in their realm, because they will not understand the spiritual tired. Okay? So that was the message I got this morning from my guidance. And I don't know where we're going with this. I've gotten messages for the next 3 days or so. So we're just going to, and if there's questions that are coming up for you, please put them in the comments, because I'll put them in, I call it the percolator. I'll put it in the percolator, and we'll just keep going with this for as long as as long as there's something to say and the guidance is present. We'll keep going. But realize that there are people in this world that are not going to be defining themselves as healers, and they most certainly are. And it is our job, it is absolutely our, I don't know if job's the right word, but be an awareness. That's a better way of putting it. Be an awareness of this. Be an appreciation of this. acknowledge them, feed them. Because the more peace we have in this world, the more joy we have in this world, the more appreciation, that light shines brighter in our world than we can ever imagine. So when things happen that we can't understand and we don't know why, we have beacons. We have beacons of light and hope and love that soothe us and brings us into the humble heart that feeds humanity, that feeds us, feeds our community, feeds the people in your local touch, your local touch. And if, one last thing, they're kind of giving me a thing, and if you are an island unto your own, I am, a lot of the time I am alone, I sit at my altar. I sit at my altar. I will admit to not doing it every day, but I sit at my altar a great many days in a week. I sit at my altar and I breathe divinity and love and light into the people and the community and the world and the neighborhood and the strangers that have affected my life in such positive ways. I give thanks and I breathe love. I breathe love. I breathe love. I breathe love. I pour love into them. Okay? So, are you a healer? Do you know healers that are of service? They probably aren't even calling themselves healers. We love you and we love them. We love you, we love you, love you. We love you very deeply. I'll see you soon. Namaste.